I am going to begin by sharing my screen to a PowerPoint that we created for you all. And if I could have a thumbs up if you can see my PowerPoint. Outstanding. And so this is a photograph of the Governor's School, and you can see the light in my office is on. It's on a lot. I like it here. I stay here a lot. We are adjacent to Heritage High School, as you probably know, and it is a fabulous facility. And I'm very much looking forward to giving you all a tour when you come for new student orientation. So again, welcome to the Governor's School, CVGS Class of 2023. Very exciting. If you go to our YouTube channel, CVGS Director, you'll see the senior recognition ceremony we had recently for our current graduating class. So this is who I am. My name's Dr. Stephen Smith. I'm the director of the Governor's School. I also get to be one of the instructors. There are 7 of us who teach here. I get to teach all of the junior statistics, which is a tremendous amount of fun for me. I also teach some of the seniors a math course called Connections in Mathematics, and then I teach some of the technology labs as well. There are other things that I do, but those are probably the most important things that you need to know about what I do. I have been at the Governor's School for 11 years now, and my own 2 children were students here at the Governor's School, so I've seen the program from that perspective as well. A few other folks who work at the Governor's School, Dr. Scott Douglas is our assistant director. He's teaching our dual enrollment physics for seniors. He teaches one section of research for juniors. Some of you will have Dr. Scott Douglas be your mentor for research, and it will be students who are working on physics projects. And then he also teaches technology labs. He does things like our laser engraver and 3D printing, our drone technologies, our virtual reality lab, that kind of thing. Dr. Michelle Douglas is our other senior science teacher. She teaches human anatomy and physiology, and that's also for college credit. She also teaches research, particularly students who are working in microbiology. She teaches several tech labs, things like our microscopy lab, which includes our scanning electron microscope and biotechnology techniques. And she's also in charge of our Google Suite administration. So if you have any issues with your Gmail or your Google Drive, Dr. Michelle Douglas would be the one to contact. Now, I'm giving you a lot of information. I should have told you, you don't have to take any notes at all. Not only because we're recording this and you can watch it on our YouTube channel, but also because later in the presentation, Mrs. Kim McMillan, our program coordinator, is going to share with you a Google Drive that will have files of all the information you need. So you don't need to take any notes. Don't worry about how much we're sharing. Just relax and enjoy the presentation. And then at the end, we'll have time for Q&A. Mr. Steve Howard. Mr. Howard has been at the Governor's School for 32 years, which is fantastic. He teaches Calculus 1, 2, and 3 to seniors. He teaches several technology labs, including video production, and he is in charge of our instructional technology. So he is the one who's going through all the boxes. We have brand new laptops for you. They're still in the box. He's going to get them all ready, put the software on them, and we're going to distribute those to you in just a while. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. Mrs. Michelle Shamit, she is our lead research teacher. She will teach most of you the research methods course, and she also works with our internships. Mr. Jeff Steele, he is going to be teaching all of you physics. This is our CVGS physics course. He works with several technology labs, and he helps Mr. Howard with our IT functions. Ms. Deborah Wilson, who is our custodian and also works in our office and is a tremendous help to students when they have questions. Now, there are 2 other members of our team, and I'm saving them for last because you're actually going to meet them tonight, and you can probably see them on your screen. The first is Mrs. Kim McMillan. She is our program coordinator. She manages our student information system. She works with parking, transportation, and really she's your point of contact for any questions you have. She is wonderful, and you're going to get to know her well. And Mrs. Melissa Shiflett, someone else you'll get to know well, she is our math department chair, and she teaches math to all the junior students, whether you're in math analysis, which is dually enrolled, or Calculus 1, which is dually enrolled. She also manages many tech labs, including our scientific photography, which is a favorite with our students. And she handles all of the scheduling and all of the grade reporting for the Governor's School. Our agenda for the evening, just so you know how things are going to go. We're going to talk about administrative items, make sure that we have the information we need to get a hold of you. I will share information about our daily schedules, our website and social media, your laptop pickup, which will be Saturday, May 22nd, new student orientation, which will be June 8th or 9th. We'll talk about the ALEX software and summer support for you, and then we'll have Q&A. So those are the 7 things that we're going to do this evening. So administrative items. At this time, I'd like to turn the discussion over to Mrs. McMillan.
Hey everyone, glad you guys are here. Welcome to the Gov School. I do want to mention about the registration paperwork or electronic form. Actually, this is different than the enrollment form that you got with your acceptance letter. This registration form has things like emergency contacts and permission slips and things like that. So all of that should be done. If you haven't received an email from me with a link for that, it means I have something wrong with your email address. So if you could give me a call and we can try to get that worked out so that everybody can get their registration form done and we can have everybody's emergency contacts. Like Dr. Smith said, everything will be in a Google folder. So I'll share that with you later on this week. There is going to be lots of different documents in that folder. One of the things is a handout, which we would love to be handing you in person, but we can't do that yet. So we couldn't think of what else to name it, so it's still called a handout. That handout has contact information on it and just some information that you'll hear tonight, but it's just condensed in a one sheet kind of thing. It has division advocates on there too. Dr. Smith will tell you about them. We also have this PowerPoint will be in there. There's also a document to our CVGS store. We have merchandise, we have t-shirts and mugs and all kinds of different things. And there's pictures and a Google form that you can fill out if you'd like to purchase any of that stuff. If you do that before new student orientation, I will pull your order and have it ready for you when you come to new student orientation to pick it up. If you'd like to pick it up earlier than that, just give me a call or send me an email and I can get it ready and you can stop by. I work all summer, so you can stop by at any point and pick it up. Payment instructions are on that form too. So if you click on that document, you'll be able to get all the store information. There's also a document in there talking about laptop pickup, and Dr. Smith will go into that in more detail later. There is a CVCC parent permission form. We have dual enrollment classes here at the Gov School, and in order to take dual enrollment, you have to have a parent permission, and it needs an original signature. So we have given you the electronic copy. We ask that you print it, have a parent sign it, and bring it back with you for new student orientation. And I'll send you a reminder before then too, just so you remember and you don't have to keep it in your brain for that long. There's also information in this Google folder about the ALEX software that Mrs. Shiflett is going to tell you about. There's a couple different documents in there about that. So Mrs. Shiflett will give you more information about that later. One thing I did want to mention too is virtual Virginia classes. Some of you may be more familiar with that this year than you ever in the past, but there is some classes that you can take virtually that sometimes can help ease your schedule. Sometimes leaving Gov School and going back to your base school, sometimes the transition time is too tight. If you take a virtual Virginia class, it can open that up a little bit. You would need to sign up for the virtual Virginia class through your guidance counselor, but you can have Dr. Smith be your mentor, which means you can do the classwork anywhere that you'd like. You don't have to be in school to do the classwork. You can do it at home. There is a timeline. You have to follow the timeline, and different assignments are due at different points. So you can't work at your own pace, but you can do it in your own location. And then when you have assessments that are due, you would have to be here, and Dr. Smith proctors those assessments. So that can free up your schedule a little bit. So if you need more information about that, you can talk to your guidance counselor or call me and I can walk you through that a little bit. Auto calls. Hopefully everybody got a phone call tonight. Did you guys get a phone call? Yes. If you did not get a phone call, let me know. You should also get an email, which usually is the exact same verbiage as the phone call. If you are getting these phone calls, maybe at a work phone number that you don't want to get phone calls there, just let me know, send me an email, let me know which phone numbers you want to remove and not get the calls from, and I can fix that. If you need to update some phone numbers, you will be able to do that later through the student portal once we get that up and running and you guys have your laptops. You want to make sure that you're paying attention to these phone calls because we do make our own weather calls. So Dr. Smith determines whether or not it is safe in our area to come to school, and we make a phone call to let you know if we're going to be closed or if we're going to be, we are never delayed, actually, now that I say that. So a phone call to let you know if we are closed. You need to make sure you pay attention to that because there are some times where we might be closed, but your base school is open, or your base school is closed and we are open. If that happens, keep in mind that your base school is not going to provide transportation. So we will have classes and you are responsible for that information. But there are different ways that you can get that. You can get it from classmates or different ways. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to those because it's very important. We have a different calendar than what your base school has. Dr. Smith is going to show you later where to find that calendar. But so there are some days, again, where your school might be closed, but our calendar is open. We work with 10 different high schools, 5 different school divisions, so it's hard to get all of the calendars to be in sync, but we try our best, but it's not always possible. So you need to make sure you're paying attention to our calendar. Absences. If you are ever absent from the governor's school, I need to have a note, and I can accept emails. So a note from a parent or a guardian, or an email from a parent or guardian. And this includes absences where if we are open and your school is closed and your parents don't want you coming to Gov School because the roads are dangerous in your area, we have a large geographical area that we cover. Safety is always our main concern. If you're not comfortable being on the roads, if your parents aren't comfortable being on the roads, stay home by all means. I just need a note saying that you stayed home because of weather. And that's really, all absences are excused. I just really need a note, just so that I know that the parents know the student wasn't at school. That's the main objective there. Transportation. We do not schedule transportation. That is handled through the base schools. So you need to contact your school divisions if you are requiring transportation from them. I have contact numbers that I can give you if you need them. Just contact me and let me know. Each school division will provide transportation to and from the governor's school. You just need to make sure you let them know that you need it. We also have lots of parking here. You do need to purchase a parking pass. They are from Lynchburg City Schools, so I don't really have any control over the price or when I get them, actually. In the past, they have been $50, but I don't set the price, so I don't know if they'll be $50 this year or not. We will get them, but we don't get them till after our school has already started. I will send an email to the students once I get the passes from Heritage and let them know how much they are, what the process is for purchasing them. But just know that if you're driving to school in the beginning, you're allowed to park in our parking lot without a pass in the very beginning because we won't have them yet. And I think that's it. If you have any questions, like I said, I'm here all summer, so give me a call, send me an email. I'd be happy to help you. Thanks.
Thank you, Mrs. McMillan. I appreciate that. I'll go on to the daily schedules. So we actually have 2 sessions, which many people don't realize. We have a first session that starts at 7:30 a.m. and concludes at 10:10 a.m. And if you are a student whose base school is Amherst, Brookville, EC Glass, Rustburg, or about half the students from Jefferson Forest, you'll be scheduled into the first session. Oftentimes, the first session, it's decided by your school division based on when they can run buses. That doesn't mean that you won't be able to provide your own transportation, but this is when they would have buses for you. Second session is from 8:25 until 11:05. Alta Vista, Appomattox, Heritage, Liberty, William Campbell, Stanton River. We have 11 high schools this year. We have a student from Stanton River. I'm super excited. We have not had a student from Stanton River in my 11 years at the governor's school. So we're so excited to have a student from Stanton River. And again, half of the students from Jefferson Forest. If you're from Jefferson Forest and you're like, yes, but which half am I? They're going to tell you. Your guidance department will let you know based on the schools you're taking at, the classes you're taking at JF, which session you're in for us. Website and social media. So I was creating this list, and I thought, as I looked at it, that the ones at the top of the list are more for people in my generation, and the ones at the bottom of the list are more for people in our students' generations. So a website, like how many kids actually go to websites? Probably not that often. But our website, if you Google CVGS, you'll find it. And I'm actually going to take you to our website in just a minute to show you our calendar. Our Facebook page is probably the next in terms of age, the next thing that you might go to. We find that many of our students don't go to our Facebook page, but we do have one, and you can Google Central Virginia Governor School for Science and Technology and find that. Instagram, now we're starting to get some of our students, they will like and follow our Instagram, and it's just CVGS_Griffins. And again, you don't have to write any of this down. You have a copy of this PowerPoint in the shared folder that you'll receive a link to. And then our YouTube channel, you've heard me mention it a couple of times. There are some fun videos on there, and that's something that our students do subscribe to. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop sharing this screen, and I'm going to take you just very briefly to our website. And again, you don't need to memorize the address, although you can see it there and it makes sense. You can just Google CVGS and it will come up as your first response. So let me share here. May I see a thumbs up if you can see our website? Fantastic, thank you. So you may have seen this before. The most important thing for you right now is the calendar, but if you click this link here in the center, you're going to see the current calendar, and what you want is the calendar for next year. It's under current news, and you need to click one more time, and you should see the calendar for this coming year. Please note that you have a key to the left. You have the full months moving across from left to right and top to bottom. Notice that you have SO here on August 2nd. And so these are in alphabetical order. You'd go down to SO. That is a new student orientation day. Our plan for this fall is to have 5 days of on-site instruction with all our students here at the same time. I'm saying it that way because it means a lot to us. We are super excited to have all our kids here. One of the benefits of the Governor's School is getting to meet the students from the other school divisions, and they couldn't do that this past year. So we're really excited to get back to creating a full community of learners. You are going to meet wonderful students from all over Central Virginia, and it's going to be fabulous. So take a look at the calendar. If you ever have any questions about it, please let me know, and do compare it to your division calendar. As Mrs. McMillan said, some of the days don't line up exactly, but at the Governor's School, we're really good at looking out for each other. So if we have class and you're not here, you're going to have a Google Classroom that's going to have your notes, it's going to have any information you need, and your peers are going to look out for you. We put our students into learning teams. So you don't have to worry so much about that. They're going to look out for you, and you are going to look out for your classmates. That's what it means to be part of our community of learners. I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint. Do you see the PowerPoint again? Fantastic. I love it when the technology works smoothly. Laptop pickup instructions. Please note that there are detailed instructions in the shared folder. So you don't have to take notes here either, but I just wanted to give you an overview of what's going to happen. Laptop pickup is going to occur on Saturday, May 22nd from 11 a.m. until noon. If you can't make it, that's okay. I will reschedule. If you email Mrs. McMillan, we will schedule another time just for you. But on Saturday, May 22nd, from 11 a.m. until noon, any family member can drive up to pick up the laptop. And the way we'll know that we're not just handing laptops out to anybody who comes into the parking lot is that you're going to write the student's full name as we would have it in your enrollment materials on a piece of paper and hold that up as you pull up. So assuming that you have 2 people in the car. Otherwise, if it's just the one of you, just pull up and stop, be safe, and we will bring a laptop to you that is set up for your student specifically. It's going to have information about how to log on to Gmail, how to do a few things with technology. The laptop's going to have the software your student's going to need. And as I said, they're still in the boxes. These are brand new, very nice HPs. We're going to have masks on. You're going to roll down the window. We're going to be outside. No real risk of any kind of COVID transmission concerns. All of the staff here is fully vaccinated. So I don't want you to be worried at all, but if you'd like, you're welcome to wear a mask. We're going to pass this to you and you're just going to honk and wave goodbye, and that's it. We've done this before. It takes about a minute a car at most. Very simple. So that's going to be May 22nd. You're saying, well, why are they giving me a laptop on May 22nd? What's the deal, Dr. Smith? New student orientation is the deal. So we are going to have you on site. We're very excited about this. Now, currently, with the CDC physical distancing restrictions of 3 feet, we can't have all our students on site at the same time. We're not ready for that yet, especially because we want to give you a tour of the facility. So we're going to break this into 2 days, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But here's what everyone's going to do during their on-site day. You're going to arrive before 8 a.m. and you're going to depart at noon. You're going to bring your charged laptop. You're going to bring a mask because we are required to wear masks. We will have a way for you. We have some temperature kiosks, so we'll scan your temperature, and as long as you don't have a fever, then you'll just move on into our activities. Please bring water. You can bring a water bottle. I don't know if you can see this. I have blur background on. Mine happens to have this CVGS logo. You can bring bottled water. You can bring a little snack. Don't bring a full lunch. No need to, but it's 4 hours, so you know yourself well. We're going to take your photo that day. We put all our students' names and photos up in the commons area so they can get to know each other well. You're also going to get to do an introductory video, but just know that we're going to take your photo. On-site temperature screening. Please check your temperature before you come. That way, if you do have a fever, you'll know not to come, and we'll get all the information to you at another time. And our goals for new student orientation, we want you to get to know our facility, get to know our staff, get to know each other, and then learn a little bit about research. So that's really what we're going to do in those 4 hours. Now, Bedford and Campbell students are on June 8th, and Amherst, Appomattox, and LCS are on June 9th. And again, you'll have this PowerPoint and all the information in the PowerPoint in the shared folder. And now it's time to talk about the ALEX software, and I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Shiflett. Mrs. Shiflett?
Hi, everybody. I am Melissa Shiflett, and I'm going to talk to you guys about this ALEX software that will hopefully get you ready for next year with your math classes. So last year, a little bit of background information, last year when the schools were kind of abruptly shut down and a lot of students found that they missed the ending of their math courses and were a little bit nervous about transitioning into our college level courses, we found this software, ALEX, that was meant to help fill those gaps that they had. It helped them finish out the course and also find other places where maybe they were missing some information, things that they had forgotten. And our students worked on this last summer and came into our program much more prepared and ready to go. And it went over so well, and our students had, on the most, really positive things to say about the program, that we decided that this would be a good year to use it this summer as well for several reasons. One reason is most of you guys have probably been learning math virtually or somewhat virtually this year, which is difficult and can often lead to some gaps. Some of you guys had either semester long, or some I think even had 9-week long classes, or maybe you took it in the very beginning of the year and you haven't done math for a while. And then also we typically do a placement test through CVCC for our students since our courses are dual enrolled and they're not able to do the CVCC placement test this year. And we found that that placement test really helped us make sure that students were going into a course in which they'd be able to be successful. So doing a little bit more research with ALEX, as I found this thing called ALEX PPL, which stands for Placement, Preparation, and Learning. And it's not a test. This isn't meant to be, what do you know, what do you not know, and where are you? It's more meant to find those places where you have weaknesses or gaps and fill them in so that you're prepared for whatever course you're going to be going into. So this will take less than 2 hours to complete, typically about 60 to 90 minutes. I believe that you answer a maximum of maybe 30 questions, but it is computer adaptive, which means that the questions are going to be based on what you are answering right and what you are not understanding. And so it will then take all of those and be able to place you into a course that is going to help you to be successful. So the really neat thing about this placement test is that it's not just a placement test and you're done. It's going to put you on a learning path. And this learning path is going to give you material that it feels will be helpful for you to once again fill those gaps and prepare for next year. Our courses are dual enrolled, they're college level, they are very rigorous, and our students sometimes come in and they want to make sure that they are prepared and ready to go. And we also serve 10 high schools, so there are different places that people are, and so we want to make sure that everybody's coming in around the same place. So this is going to be for all of our students, regardless of what high school you came from, what course you took last year, or what course you're wanting to take. All of our students are going to take this placement assessment, and it's going to set up their learning path as they're going through. Now, the real purpose for this is to help us place students that are wanting to take calculus next year. So if you are interested in taking Calculus 1 next year at CVGS, we would like you, if you are able to, take the placement test prior to new student orientation. That way we can have a one-on-one discussion about your results and make sure that we get you where you're supposed to be. Otherwise, we would like everybody to take the test or the assessment by June 18th. And so that way you'll have a learning path and you'll be ready to go for the summer. The idea here is that you'll work on this maybe about 10 hours over the whole summer. This is not meant to be a daily, you're in summer school all summer long. That's not the purpose of this. This is just meant to help fill gaps. Some of you might find that you have very little to do because you are ready and you're prepared. You'll have a little bit of assessment, and some of you guys might decide that you want to spend a little bit more time on it. So the idea is you're going to be taking this placement test. We have math analysis and we have calculus next year. And I do realize that a lot of our students come in having taken a math analysis or pre-calculus course already at their base school. And they just feel like, well, the next class that I'm supposed to take is calculus. But we actually encourage a lot of our students to take our math analysis course regardless. It's a different course. We cover some different material, but even the material that's the same, we go a lot deeper and we teach a little bit more. We have students every year who, even last summer, that take a placement test and don't test into calculus and are really disappointed. And they're like, oh, my world is over. What am I going to do? And usually 1 or 2 months into math analysis, they're so thankful that they took the course. Because for one thing, you are taking lots of AP and advanced classes during your junior year. You're going to have a year-long research course, and it just takes a little bit of the pressure off. And majority of the students also will say, I learned the math so much better. I actually understand what I'm doing. I'm not just repeating a process or writing down what my teacher wrote down. I'm getting what's happening. My calculus students hear me say all the time, calculus is mostly, do you know your algebra and your trigonometry? And do you understand when and how to use it? Not just being able to do a process. So even if you're a student that's like, well, I got an A in my last class, of course I'm supposed to go on. Most of our students get A's before they come to Gov School. So taking math analysis as a junior is not a bad thing. It doesn't hurt transcripts at all. It actually is going to probably build your resume even more because you're going to build a super strong foundation, and then you'll be really successful when you go into calculus. We also realize, though, some of our students are ready for calculus, which is why we have the course. But this placement test is meant to help us have that conversation and make sure that you end up in a course where you're going to be successful and you're going to enjoy the math. Because as a math person, I want my students to enjoy it and not feel overly stressed by it. So just to kind of sum up, you guys are going to be taking the placement assessment. If you're wanting to be in calculus, or maybe you just want to get it over with, go ahead and take it before NSO. But we also understand you guys have a lot going on in your base schools. And so if you don't have time, just as long as we can get it in by June 18th. So how do you take it? You're probably wondering, all right, where do I go? In that shared folder, you're going to see 2 documents about ALEKS. One is a short document for parents to explain the program and what it's about. The second one is a slightly longer document for students. And hopefully you got my sarcasm there, and I apologize, it's a little long, but it comes from the company and it has some really good information. So please read it through. It's going to talk about what the program is, what its purpose is, how it works. It's going to answer questions that you're going to have. But in that document, and you actually have to read it to find this, partway through, you're going to find a course code, and that's going to be the code you'll use when you sign into the program. And then there's also a link to a very short video, I think it's about 2 minutes, that explains how you are going to log in for the first time. You will need to use the CVGS email, so you won't be able to actually take this placement test until after you get your laptops, because that's when you'll finally get your CVGS email account. You'll log in with your CVGS email account, you'll use the course code, and you'll start taking the placement test. And as soon as you finish that placement assessment, it'll put you on a learning path. And I'll be able to answer questions. So please know you can always reach out to me. Email's probably the quickest way to get in touch with me. Just tell me who you are and what questions you have, and I can definitely get you where you need to be. In the end, I love that I get to teach all of the juniors math. It's probably one of my favorite things, that I get to know every single junior that comes through our building. But I really want to make sure that you're in a class where you're going to feel comfortable and you'll be successful and that you'll enjoy it in the end. And that's the purpose of this. So this is not something that is going to overtake your summer at all. If you do it wisely, it'll be a very little bit as you go through. But I do think it's going to help you feel really confident when you come into us next year.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Shiflett. Yes, so when we purchased this software, we did buy a license for each student. I asked the students, I said, students, I want you to tell me about this after you've done it. And do you recommend that we spend this money again for the incoming juniors? Because that's what we do. We ask our students, what's working in the program? What do we need to fix? What is it you think we should change for the next year's students? And you're going to get to hear some, you're going to get to see some videos and hear from some of our students. They're going to get at new student orientation, they're going to give you some advice via video because they're very excited to pay it forward and to look out for the incoming Griffins. And they said, almost exclusively, they said, yes, if you can afford it, buy the licenses for Alex for the incoming students. It's really helpful. So we're excited to be able to provide this to you. And we are done, except there's one page, question and answer page, and here, these are actually some answers. But no, these are your division advocates. These are the people in each of your school divisions who know about the governor's school, who come to our governing board meetings, and who can answer your questions. Now in Bedford County, you've had some change at your administration, and there isn't a particular person who's serving as the division advocate at this time. So you direct your questions to me, and I'll find somebody to get answers for you. And that's true really for anything. If you ever have a question, you can always come to Mrs. McMillan or me first. Send me an email. You'll learn that I'll reply to it typically the same day, if not within an hour. I'm on email all the time because I want to make sure that our students get good customer service. So we're going to take care of you. Welcome to the Governor's School. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that I can see you all again, because that's the one thing about sharing screen is I don't get to see you. And I'm going to allow participants to unmute. I had a security feature which wouldn't allow that earlier, and I believe now you can unmute if you'd like. And if you would like to ask any questions, you can either type them in the chat, and Mrs. Shiflett will be watching that, or you can just unmute and ask. You're like, I am not going to ask a question now in front of all these people, and you're recording it on YouTube. That is not happening. Okay, I get it. That's fine. We're not going. Oh, wait, there's one in the chat. Mrs. Shiflett, do you see that one?
Are you wanting me to answer this? Do HHS students get CVGS parking permit or an HHS parking permit? And is this determined by HHS? This is a Mrs. McMillan question. She'll answer better than I can.
I don't know, and I'm going to say I don't know because Mrs. Shiflett used to teach AP Calculus at Heritage High School, so she was a pioneer. But Mrs. McMillan, do you want to field this question?
Yes, actually, and it brings up a really good question, even about other schools. If you get a pass for us, it is good for Heritage High School and for EC Glass. Some of the other school divisions will honor their pass too. Other schools make you purchase a pass for their school as well. For example, my kids came to the Governor's School. They had to get a pass here at the Governor's School, but they also went to Brookville High School. Brookville High School did not make them purchase a pass. But there are other schools that will say, yes, you're parking in our location, you have to buy a pass. Okay, does that help?
I'm sorry for interrupting, Mrs. McMillan. I got excited. I saw another question in the chat, and the question was this: how many juniors are in the class of 2023? That is such a good question. And it's such a good question because the Lynchburg City Schools just voted as a school board to add some additional positions at the governor's school. So I've had the very enjoyable experience of calling a few more families. So I think we're looking at 71 students in the class of 2023 right now. But not all the students have gotten back to me with whether they accept the position or not. Some of them are thinking about early college, and it really depends on, they've already accepted to early college, but what's going to serve them best? So I have a conversation and I say, well, do you like math and science? And are you interested in going to a competitive college? And are you interested in advantages for scholarships and admissions and that kind of thing? Do you want to use advanced technology? Do you want an internship? These are all things that we provide that early college doesn't provide, but early college does provide the associate's degree and some other things. So in any case, I think 71. Fingers crossed. I want every student who can to be here at the governor's school. And we have,
Dr. Smith, I'm going to jump in and answer the next two questions because
you.
I think I can, or actually next three questions. So first, all of our juniors take physics coming in. That will be their science course. All of our juniors coming in will take a research course, which includes statistics with Dr. Smith. And all of our students will take a math class, either math analysis or calculus. We highly recommend you take the math analysis class, though we do realize that some of you are ready for calculus, and that will be decided based on the placement test. Okay, so that's kind of, so math analysis, especially if you are taking an Algebra 2 Geo or Algebra 2 class or a trig class, you'll take math analysis, no question. The students that have taken a math analysis or pre-calculus course this past year, those would be ones that, using the placement test as help, will make the best course placement for them. And then, should we prepare? Thank you for asking that, Micah, because I should have mentioned that. Do not prepare for the placement test. When I was in high school, SAT was an aptitude test to see like how you are doing. You didn't prepare for it. Nowadays, it's a little different. This is meant to see where you are, not what you can cram for. Because when we cram for something, it leaves our brain the next day. So don't prepare for this. You should not use any resources while you take this. You should not be Googling answers or looking up in a textbook to remember how to do something. This is meant to see how comfortable you are with the material. Because there's a difference between being able to look at a problem and copy down what it's saying, or just understanding how to do something. And that's important when you go into calculus. So when you sign on to Alex, it's going to remind you, don't use notes, don't use a calculator unless they provide it, don't talk to other people about it. And that's going to be really helpful because I know it's competitive. This isn't a competitive thing. This is about making sure that you are going to be super successful next year. I will say with the test, it's a 2-hour limit. I did put a limit on this test because I want you guys not to have it spanning over several days, and I want to see what you guys can do in that time frame. Though they say on average, students finish it between 60 and 90 minutes. This is a placement test that's used at colleges across the United States for math placement purposes. So I would imagine that the students coming into the governor's school are probably going to fit into that time frame pretty easily. What happens if you haven't had pre-calculus? Then your choice is super easy. You take math analysis and you're going to love it. It's an awesome course. You will still take the placement assessment because that will put you on your learning path and allow you to practice and be really prepared for when you come into math analysis. So that way you have all the information that you want. And do we decide where our internships are? Cool, you guys are go-getters, and I love that about all of you guys, but no, slow down a little bit. No, you will start talking about that in the fall during your research course, and they will help you make those decisions for next spring. So you have plenty of time. Really, right now, our focus is on getting you into the right math course and getting you ready for this research experience and making sure that you're not scared about the research experience, more getting you excited for the research experience.
That is exactly right. That's actually a key message from me. And students, you'll get to know me because I'll get to teach all of you statistics. And if you have questions, you can come see me. But we really want you to understand our culture. And Mrs. Shiflett talked a little bit about it. We are not competitive here, and that's what our students will tell you if you talk to them. We are collaborative. We value helping each other. We value working in teams. We value clear communication and being thoughtful with each other. So that's what our culture is about. And that's unusual. Many of our students tell us, boy, I was really nervous at new student orientation. And I was like, maybe everybody here is so smart and maybe I'm not. Maybe it was wrong. I was selected by mistake. That is not the case. You were very carefully selected. You are now a Griffin. You are part of our community of learners. It is our job to take care of you and make sure that you have opportunities to do more, to know more, and to become more. That's what we do. And you're part of the Gov School now. So we're going to make sure you have those opportunities. Do we have any more questions in the chat?
Looks
Yes,
like
I'm sorry.
both of your math courses are dual enrolled. The calculus is dual enrolled through CVCC as well as the math analysis course. If you took a pre-calculus course at your base school, our math analysis course is a different number through CVCC. Now, let me be clear, that doesn't mean you get 2 separate math credits going to college. It still is a pre-calculus class. Though most colleges want you to go beyond pre-calculus anyway. So it is a different number. So in terms of CVCC transcripts, it'll all work out. We have had many students who have taken pre-calculus or math analysis at their base school and then take it again with us, have gone on to wonderful colleges, have been very successful with what they've done. But if you have questions about that, please let me know.
And I'll grab the next 2 questions. You're going to take 3 classes with us. You're going to take math with Mrs. Shiflett, either pre-calc or calc. You're going to take physics with Mr. Steele, and you're going to take research, probably with Mrs. Shamit, but perhaps with a Dr. Douglas, one or the other, Mr. or Mrs. So that's how that's going to work. And your guidance counselors understand the courses at the Governor's School. We've been around for over 35 years. They've been doing this a while. So they're going to get your schedule sorted out. Mrs. Shiflett will send your courses to your base school and take care of that for you. Right now, they're just going to have your morning set aside for Gov School, and they know how to do that for you. These are great questions. You all are on the ball. Well, I'm a little bit over time. I estimated 30 minutes for tonight. We're at 45, but I think it's been a wonderful 45. I don't mean to cut the questions off, but I'm just going to cut them off in this venue. Please email one of us if you have any questions. We want you to feel comfortable. We want you to have the answers you need so that you can come to new student orientation excited. You're going to have this new laptop, this software. We're going to talk about research, which you probably haven't heard much about, and we're going to help you all the way through. So we're so excited to meet our class of 2023. Thank you for being here tonight, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. Please email us if you have any questions. And we're going to close our meeting. Thank you so much for being here.